Hello, good evening, and welcome to Havent the Breeze. This is Gav, that is Phil, and this is a show where me and Phil come on once a week to talk about anything we want to. And it can be sport, it can be anything at all. But generally, the clue's in the name. We'll ask each other questions, and most of the time we just go, yeah, I haven't got a breeze, what you're talking about. So
Having a
that's
breeze.
where
Having
we
a breeze.
are. Do you know what I've done, Phil? I've,
Go
I've
on.
tried to, I've tried to, I've tried to counteract your refusal to set up Spotify, right?
Okay.
So usually we do this on the Having the Breeze YouTube channel, and
Yeah,
sometimes we
what are
do
we
it.
on now?
Well, let me break this to you. I didn't tell you before this, and sometimes we do it on the Talkin Kop feed as a member show. I decided to put it out as a
Right.
free show tonight, but I have it on both YouTube channels. I think.
Jesus, that's
I
deadly.
know technology, mad,
Two
isn't it?
channels. Two channels at a go.
Two channels. It's like it's
I
like
feel like I feel
it's
like
like
Gianni Infantino.
it's like
We're
the
doing a draw.
eighties. It's like the eighties in Dublin where you go, how many channels have you got? Two. And that's
Yeah.
it. That's all we had, two
Or
channels.
the same type of program we on BBC One, Northern Ireland, and BBC One, but maybe it's slightly different times because it's a bit laggy. So, what channel am I on, and what channel are you?
You can be on whatever channel you want, whatever tickles your
So, if
fancy
I
the
step over
most.
here, I'm closer to
Yeah.
the
If
talking
you,
cup,
if you
and if I
lean
go
left,
this way,
if you lean left, you're on the talking cop. If you lean right, you're on the having the breeze. Um,
amazing.
Oisin says, I can't believe you can stream the same show on two different YouTube channels. Life is
It's
great.
amazing.
Well, on YouTube, there's an option when you go live that you can collaborate, which means you can bang it onto someone else's channel. If you're doing it directly through YouTube, but I do it through a software where I can put it onto all sorts. I can have it live on Twitter, loads of places, but we just stick with YouTube. Um, how are you? Your haircut is
Well,
fucking fantastic, by the way. You look, you don't look a day over 42.
that's not bad going, isn't it, for a man of
No,
my age?
for a man of your age who's 47.
7. I'm heading towards me 48 years. It's not
Are you
good.
not in your 48 year?
No, I'm in 47th year at the moment. Well, I suppose I'm in my 48 year. I I don't know. Are you in 1 year when you're born from 0 to 1? Are you not sort of on your way to 1 as
No, you're
opposed
in
to
your
being in
first
your
year.
1?
When you go one, you're in your second year. So you are
No, you're
47
not.
is
You're
in his
not.
48 year. It is. It's like
Whatever.
it's like football. Oh,
It's
they
not.
scored in the first minute, and when you look up, it's
Don't ask me
not. There's a
bollocks.
minute and 40 seconds on the clock. It's
26.
the second minute.
26. I'm 26.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah.
Do you know what blew me mind today? I was taking a bit of downtime from on my lunch break, and I started learning about the Willow mind. It's fascinating.
The
It's
what?
Google's quantum computer, right? Um, and
Right.
managed to solve the RCS.
I'm gonna do my absolute best to look interested in this. Go on.
Okay, when I get to the end, it'll make sense, sort of,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But it managed to complete the RCS test in 5 minutes, right? Now this is amazing
What's the
because if you
RCS test?
it's a radio controlled something, right? It's a very
Radio controlled submarine.
no, it's
Available
some
in all
complex.
Smiths this Christmas.
Really, it's this really complex algorithm. I don't think that ever been solved, but it's meant to be solved now by this. Anyway, it is. What's important about this is it took this 5 minutes using all the supercomputers in the world. It would take 10 septillion years to do this, right?
Right.
Which is longer than time itself has existed, right?
Okay.
Right. So this is mad, right?
Has it? Right. Okay.
So Google has done this in 5 minutes,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
it's condensed longer than time has ever existed into 5 minutes to solve this thing, right? Now,
Right.
what's mental about it is that by doing it, the only way it's possible for this to have been done is that the calculations that it's used had to have been happening in parallel universes to get to the answer, which has proved that parallel universe exists and we're in a multiverse. So it's actually broken reality for us, right?
Okay.
It's broken new ground for reality, and it means that quantum computing in our lifetime is now reality. And in fact, if expect to have first really commercial available quantum computer by 2030, right? And
Right.
it's
Can
completely insane.
can I ask you something? First of all, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have questions. Okay.
Okay.
Firstly, 2 people have hit the thumbs down button since we started, which is fantastic. I wonder which channel what they're on. We don't know which channel the
Nah.
naysayers are on. Jesus Christ, you have to be very serious to be giving us a thumbs down. Anyway, what does it when it solves it? What does it do for us?
I've that bit I don't know, but all I know is that it just means that it's deadly.
Right, so right, so see this right, and the end of time, and more time than we've ever been here, and it took us 5 minutes to do it, and it proved this and it proved that, and we go, well, what's it do, Phil? Jeez, I couldn't tell you.
Just listen to me. The fact that
You,
it
you
had to
just
have
got you
taken
just got
place.
really fascinated by something that we don't know what it's done.
No, it has. It's what it's done is it's gone from typical byte calculation to
Yeah.
qubits, right?
Oh,
So your
okay.
normal byte is 0, 1. Well, basically, it opens a circuit. It goes back to the very basics. Opens a circuit, closes a circuit, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember which is which, but I think it's 0 is open circuit, 1 is closed circuit, right? So everything
Right.
exists in 0, 1. It's binary, right? A
Okay.
qubit, which this is based around because it's quantum computing, basically doesn't it exists between 0 and 1. It's a circuit. It's basically a circle, right? So
Okay.
it can be a little bit open or a little bit closed. I know this seems very like, of course it can be a little bit open, a little bit closed. It's a door, right? Do you know what I mean? But it can be closer to 0 or it can be closer to 1. It isn't 1. Now, until now, all these qubits have been very unstable to do and think, but Google solved it by creating these structures of qubits that they could layer on top of each other until they got to the point where these qubits can do this calculation in synchronicity, and now across parallel universes. This is deadly. On a fascination level, this is insanely brilliant, right? And it's like to understand that this thing is doing it in not even in their reality to solve it, because it needs to do it over here to bring back the answers to us quicker than we can do anything else. It's immense, right?
Oisin says this is the stuff that is interesting, but not to me. Avo says quantum anything is deep shit. All right.
I'm very
Um,
smart.
let me see. Oh, hold on. Madge Apple's putting in words that are difficult to say. Forget being a quadragenarian. Try being a quinquagenarian.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that is either. Anyway,
It's a 5 times. It's a 20
okay. Listen, fair enough. Dan Austin wants to know: is Phil selling the Matrix? I think he might be trying to. I don't know whether this some. I don't know whether this some sort of fucking seance he's doing in a weird way, and we're all gonna be like fucking mind fucked by the end of it. We're like, must order fucking the new Google computer or something. I don't know. Limoncello Ultra says tonight I'm having a breeze. Gav chats to Dr. Brian Cox.
You're the best thing I've
Four
ever.
people, 4 people hate us now. Fair play to you, pricks.
It's the same. It's the same. It's one person with a load of burners. It's Andy,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Maybe it is.
It's
Maybe it
just
is. We don't give a
it
bollocks
is, yeah.
really. So, um, let me see. What are we going? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk to you about something. Now this is football, but it's something that's been in my head for the last week or so. Post Liverpool's game away to Newcastle, and kind of came back into my thoughts today after Liverpool had beaten Girona last night. And anybody watching, you're probably, if you're not a football fan, I'm sorry, but I want to ask this. Or if you're not a Liverpool fan, I'm sorry, right? Liverpool's goalkeeper situation. Now, I'm going to put it out there. Kelleher's been absolutely excellent in goal for Liverpool in the time he's been in goal. He makes a mistake away in Newcastle. It happens, right? We get over it. Alisson comes back in and people are like, oh, Alisson's back in. And you're like, well, he's probably the best goalkeeper in the world. And your number one comes back because that's why he's your number one. But Liverpool's plan for goalkeepers is a bit like, you're looking at Yaros in the background. You've Kelleher there that's playing a lot of games because of Alisson's injuries. You've Alisson coming back from injury, and that if he stays 50 till the end of the season, brilliant. And then you have Marmadashvili coming in from Valencia this summer. I'm finding, I think Kelleher leaves the club in the summer. I'm okay with that. I think Yaros is too early to be a second goalkeeper, right? Maybe he is. But then I look at this guy at Valencia, number one of Valencia, so highly rated, got him on a good deal, bringing him in. Is Liverpool's plan here is to have Alisson number one and now this guy number two? It feels like an awful lot of money for a guy that's number one at a La Liga team, number one for his country, coming into Liverpool to be, you're just number two until this fella decides he wants out. Or is there more to it, in your opinion? I don't want you to, I just want your opinion on where you think it might go.
Who knows is the answer.
Right. Anyway, next topic.
I mean, like, the deal didn't make any sense to me when we signed. No, and listen, I'm not saying the fella isn't amazing or great or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But I just thought it was a ridiculous amount of money on a player to replace someone who's the best in the world and is only 32. In a position where his frame means that he's got much more longevity than a shorter limbed goalkeeper, right? And you don't see many of them around, but like typically the goalkeepers, say from 6'2" and below, would have a shorter shelf span than the guys who are 6'2" and 6'3" and above. And that's mainly because the guys at the lower end of the height range rely on their spring a lot more, whereas the fellas who are taller don't need as much spring to cover the same space. I know that sounds, it's very reductive, but that's typically why shorter goalkeepers have been gradually phased out of the game, because their longevity isn't as much and they rely a lot more on their spring. Whereas guys like Alisson have these massive frames that fill up the goal. And I think most goalkeepers must be averaging about 6'4" at this stage. Like, look, even Kelleher is a joint framed of a lad. He's a long streak of piss, but like he's a big frame lad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it maybe like people, and I include myself in this, is it maybe people are just finding it difficult to get their heads around the fact that Liverpool might just actually forward plan in the goalkeeper department? Because when we talk about, and not just like Liverpool, if you talk about clubs all over the place, when you see a player that may be coming towards the end of his contract or getting that bit older, you think, right, bring someone in, get a year out, bring them in for a year, let them learn, because this guy's going to go in a year and we're forward planning and we make the transition as smooth as we can. Is it just Liverpool doing that and everybody's going, oh, but it's a goalkeeper, because if the number one is fit, and the argument's there that Alisson is not fit all of the time, it's not an argument, it's the truth. Is it just that it's because the goalkeeper situation, we look at it differently with regards to forward planning than we would for full-backs, centre-backs, midfielders, forwards, wherever it might be?
It's very hard to land an elite goalie. Even if you spend lots of money on them, doesn't guarantee that they're going to be able to manage with the type and style of football that they face into when they join the league, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen lots of goalkeepers come at monstrous money to England and fail miserably. Super Zarabagba. Remember him when he signed for Chelsea for billions of euros after he signed Alisson?
Yeah, Kepa.
Kappa, right? Yeah,
They just
used
called
to make
him
the
Kepa
kits.
because his second name was hard to say.
He used to make the kits in the 90s. That's what he was,
him.
right? His dad used to make kits in the 90s. Kappa. Anyway, then you think of all the amounts of monies that United have spent on goalkeepers and just bought like rubbish. And I mean, and even this goes back to Ferguson's time. It's not even just now. You know what I mean? So the concept is great if you know that Alisson has already said, listen, I'm going to see out my deal and head off into the sunset. Regardless of what you offer me, I want a new challenge. I want to be somewhere sunny or warm or South America or whatever it is at the end of my deal. Then you've jumped the gun, and you've also got somebody in potentially who's as good to do it. You clearly have fitness concerns because he's continually missing for 8 to 10 games a season. Yeah, I don't think anyone could disagree with that. And yeah, like there is the argument that do you wait till he gets to the end of his deal and say, listen, do you know what, we get a fee for you. If we wait till the end of your deal, we don't get a fee for you. Blah 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 blah. But then you're hoping that this fella coming in is as good as you think it is. And I'm just going to show my bias here. I can't think, like, since Ryan at the SIF playing a goal for the USSR in 1988, most of these Eastern European goalkeepers that they've been build out to be the most amazing thing ever have typically not ended up being the most amazing thing ever. And they look great in these European Championships and World Cups, and then you see them in league games and they're rubbish. Now, I haven't watched this fella. I haven't watched any Spanish football. I just don't have time for it, to be quite frank. So I could be wrong.
Our mutual friend Shawnee, and he watches loads of the league, and said this fella is top drawer. He reckons he's top drawer.
Great. So, that's great, but we have the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah, and maybe Pasio says there Alisson's contract till 2027. So it's just that's why it feels a bit mad. Yeah, that it's like, right, listen, you're doing 2 years at least, because Alisson has apparently said he's going to see out his contract at the very least. So it's just a weird one. I just thought you'd ask. But anyway, we can get away from football now and for a bit. I just wanted to ask you that because I know you like the goalie stuff.
No, I do, and listen. I just think it's not straightforward to say we get rid of Alisson and we bring in this fella over here, and he can sit there for 2 years. And when Alisson goes, we know he's going to be deadly because he's deadly at the moment. Right? Yeah. There's no guarantees. All transfers are 50-50, as Dave Thomas once said to me. And I said, well, how come we end up on 70-30 all the bloody time, and we are always on the 20% as opposed to 70? And that was a long time ago. That was when I used to give out everything, right? So, and I was right at that stage. But yeah, 50-50. 50-50. It's a great idea, but I will also say one thing, and it's not being called out or equally put there. We have a guy in Kelleher who's proven that he's more than capable of stepping into this team and playing at a level. Maybe it's not as high as Alisson's, right? But he's at 80% Alisson. So you want to be bloody sure that this fella is better than Kelleher.
But you see, that's the thing. Kelleher will end up, for me, leaving the football club because he wants to be a number one and play somewhere. But now, like, on the face of things, you take things at face value. He's leaving because of that, and that's fine. He's given a great service to Liverpool. He stepped in when needed. He's done excellent when he stepped in. He scored fucking penalties in League Cup finals, for fuck's sake. But what I'm saying is, we're going from that, and you're saying that's absolutely fine, to a guy that's a number one in a La Liga team coming in to be number two at Liverpool. It just doesn't. It's a bit weird, but maybe it's just forward planning, and that goalkeeper's happy to come in and probably double his money and wages and go, yeah, I'm happy to sit for a year and learn and whatever. Maybe it is. Anyway, away from football, and we do encourage the questions to roll in here because it makes the hour go really quick, and it means we don't have to think about topics, to be fair. Dylan says, I'm loving all this football chat and all, but what is your favourite and least favourite TV character of all time?
Favourite TV character of all time. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Who's yours? Because you can go anyway. You could go comedy because it makes you happy. You can go series. You can
my favorite TV character of all time is Omar from The War.
Omar from The War.
Yeah, he's unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Just absolutely, and just sensational for the whole 6 seasons of The War. Every time I think of a TV series and go character, he's one that just pops out straight away. He's my absolute favourite.
He's your go-to.
He's my go-to. Omar, yeah, I would think. Shrunken Jumper says Jimmy Corkill. What a fucking show! What a show! Remember Brookside? Jesus, Barry Grant, Sinbad. Yeah, Sinbad.
Right.
And Barry Grant ran a nightclub that no one ever seen. It was just the outside of a nightclub you see all the time. Fantastic.
Remember Ray Dicko and Brookside?
Yeah, Ray Dicko and Brookside.
Ahmad Dicko as well.
Del Boy says Cantors. Homer Simpson says Jerry. Favourite. Al Swearingen from Deadwood. Least favourite, Gary Neville from Sky Sports. Basil Fawlty, says Emma. Tony Soprano for me, says Avo. They're all the favourite. Boise from Only Fools and Horses.
His favourite, Simon Harris. What a show.
My least favourite character. I'm going to say a character that really fucking annoyed me. Right, and I know is Walt Jr. out of Breaking Bad.
Walt Jr. That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, he was my least favourite. So that he just got on me near. Like he just brought nothing to it. Like what was a brilliant series in or whatever, series, whatever it's called. I just thought that the young lad in Breaking Bad brought nothing to it.
Hmm.
You know, there wasn't, and maybe it was because it was so focused on Walt and the wife and all the other, you know, big characters. Maybe he was just there for the sake of being there. You know, he has like, you know, a family, but I think they could have given him more. Maybe he wasn't annoying actually. Maybe he was just like, you could have done more with him. You know, people are lashing me over because like, oh, he was disabled and stuff. But that's not. I'm not fucking giving out because he was disabled. It was just nothing in the show that made it. You know, whether he was disabled or not disabled. You know, it was just like, can we not do more with this character? And he never really did. But that's
Yeah.
one. That's one I didn't like. Jonathan says, great show, Gav, and the mother. Yeah, to be fair. Bubbles from the Wire. Yeah, Bubbles from the Wire was good.
I have a strange one.
Right.
My favourite character, TV character, because it's very like Father Ted would be right up there for me, right? I think he's one of the best characters of all time, right?
Jerry
But
says, Gail from Coronation Street absolutely boils my piss.
yeah.
Fantastic.
One of my personal favourites of all time, because I just love the series, and it's one of those underrated ones. But Hank Moody. See if you even know who Hank Moody is.
Who's Hank Moody? What's Hank Moody over?
He's the lead character in Californication. It was David Duchovny. Do you remember David Duchovny?
Yes.
Out of the X-Files.
Yeah.
It's one of the best series I've ever watched. Genuinely. Right?
Californication.
Yeah.
Right. Have heard.
It's where he's obsessed to womenizing, right?
Right.
And he's a writer, and he gets himself into all sorts of scrapes for being up to this stuff. And it's just one of those things you watch. And there's some really cringy moments. There's some hilarious moments, and there's some I just love the series. And his character was just mental because he managed to get himself into all sorts of trouble, and get out at the same time. And suppose there was an element of biopic or biographic in it because he was a bit of a devil now away from the camera, and
a bit of a devil.
Bit of a devil.
Charlie Baldwin says Nidge was the best ninja course from Love Hate. Yeah.
Again, I put them into a massive bucket that you watch and you enjoy at the time, and then they just vanish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to watch Californication. Well, just be careful when you're Google searching that one.
Okay, there you go. I don't know why that advice is being given, but there you go. Anne says, John Candy in any film, brilliant. Uncle Buck, loved Uncle Buck.
See, that's a film. It's a film.
Yeah, but I don't think he said TV character, did he? He may have. He may have. But
your favorite TV character?
Okay, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
My least favorite character.
Yeah, you see, when I come to least favorite characters, it's not someone that
I hated Big Board and Sesame Street.
They don't annoy me. They just looked.
What did Big Board do except be really?
That's
weird?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like there's characters, like there's probably characters where you go, I fucking can't stand them and that. Like James Corden does my fucking head in, right? But I think his Gavin and Stacey stuff is really good. But he does my head in as a person. But it's not that. It's not that kind of. He really annoys me. That's a bit meaningless, that role. It's probably more. I'll probably look at it more like that. Paulie
Pete's role in the Netflix series. He wrecked my head.
Who?
I can't remember what it's like. Pete, when he was on that Netflix series. I know I'll be watching it. Don't be giving me Coach Taylor and Friday Night Lights. Oh, as a great one, yeah, I'm with you. But Coach's wife, she was deadly as well in Friday Night Lights. In fact, Friday Night Lights, another series people need to watch. Just the best ever.
Also, man just speaking of nights, Phoenix Nights is what you should really watch with Peter Kay, which was unbelievable stuff.
My least favorite whole
Gunther,
cast of first season. I'm not
Gunther,
having that.
Gunther in Friends. What was up with that? Gunther was brilliant in Friends. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, don't know.
Neville in Alvader saying, "Peh, miserable twat, always moaning," says Anne. Jesus, Anne's hammering people here. I like it.
Yeah.
So have we given a favourite and a
No, I think
non-favourite?
I haven't given a non-favorite outside of Big Board and Sesame Street. Big Board really did my head in, and the trash heap in the Fraggles. She wrecked my head as well.
Do you know? Actually, do you know what? And I don't watch soaps, right? But everyone's watched soaps at some stage in their life, right? I definitely have. But I think it's probably more when I lived at home, because it'd be like, my mum would be like, "No, I'm watching the soaps," and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, okay." But one character I really don't like is Steve McDonald in Coronation Street. He just has the same facial expression all the time, and he goes through the
Is he
same
still in it?
circle. I don't know, but I always remember he went through the same circle of life where he was down his luck, then he was back, then he was great, then he was running like a cab company, then he found the girl of his dreams, and then she invariably cheated on him, and then he was like down in the dumps again, and somehow he owned the pub as well. Like he done me fucking head in. Now that was one I didn't like, just didn't like him. You know what I mean? Because of his facial expressions more than anything else. But there's one for you.
Actually, one for people to look up as well. It's because I think I might have mentioned it on this a number of times. But one of my favorite shows, and it never got its third series, which is a shame. Right? So it's worth watching for the 2 seasons that are out there, or is it 3 seasons? It's two or three, whatever. Is Brotherhood. If you can get your hands on it, go watch it. It's based in Rhode Island. It is basically Sopranos, but it's the Irish American connection as opposed to the Italian connection. Right? It's the Caffey brothers.
It's called Brotherhood.
Brotherhood, yeah. One brother, it's a series. One brother is the counsellor. He's the Australian fella. When you see him in now, he's played so many brilliant roles. It's your man. What's his name? It's oh Jesus, I think it is. What's the bleeding name now? You'll recognise him. Jason Isaacs, is it, or Jason Clark? No, Jason Clark is the guy who was Tommy Caffey, and Jason Isaacs is the guy who's playing Michael Caffey. But it is deadly, and definitely go watch it.
Is it new?
If you can get your hands on it, go watch it. No, it was out years ago, but I swear to God, you know the way you say you like The Wire and you like all that type of stuff, right? And The Sopranos.
Brotherhood.
This is a bit like The Wire cross with The Sopranos, but it's Irish American as opposed to Italian American and whatever.
Brotherhood.
Well,
Okay, yeah, look it up.
Yeah,
look
Brotherhood. Definitely worth it. Ran for 3 seasons. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Dylan O'Rourke is by far and away the best person in this chat for the random questions. But I have to throw it in from Matt, our Canadian friend. He says, in follow up to Dylan's question, he says, "Dylan, that's not nearly random enough. We need Phil's opinion on all the UFOs that are being seen these days."
Actually, this is strange, isn't it? Yeah. It is, and it's. I think it's very.
They're probably
weird.
just drones.
Like drones can make any shape. Did you see the drones recently that were made Santa and the sleigh, and it was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
No,
it's because it's fully 3D. They used 20,000 drones to create this 80-foot, 200-foot long Santa reindeers.
And what? They all drive in unison. They all fly in unison.
It's controlled by the willow mind.
Yeah, that big, just a big massive computer in a field going, here, just attach all them drones to that. Yeah. No, I haven't seen that. But so are you saying they are drones?
No, listen, it's not spaceships, right? Mm-hmm. There's clearly a lot of test aircraft being built by both the Chinese and the Americans and various different other arms-faring races, and they're obviously testing a lot of these out. And they've figured out that now, and you can see the change in body shapes of planes and the plan shapes in planes, how to be a lot more aggressively aerodynamic. And so much of this is unpiloted. They're not piloted planes, so it doesn't mean people have to be in them or aliens have to be in them. They're just stuff that we've never seen before.
Sorry, just something made me laugh. Anne says, Phoenix nights, when he's on dinner date with the lady with glasses, bloke approaches him selling flowers. Potter says, fuck off. Phoenix Nights was fantastic. Fernando Cheese, this is right up his street, by the way. He says they are going to stage a fake alien invasion. He loves all this
Whoever
stuff.
they are,
Yeah.
yeah, they probably already staged the fake alien invasion, and we've all just didn't even pay any attention to it because we're too busy looking over here at something else. Because everyone at the moment is the masters. They've realised they've dumbed down the vast majority of Western folks to have an attention span of approximately 37 seconds, and nobody pays attention after that. Like, straight up,
I fully believe that.
right?
Yeah. I genuinely like, and like I even, my wife to say it to me all the time. Like, she said, I'd be talking to you and you'd be just away with the fairies. Like, and I don't. It's not an ignorance thing. What happens with me is, I could be talking to you now and I could think of something in my head, and I have to do something to act on it. Otherwise, I'll forget it and go, "What was that I was thinking of?" And then I just won't remember for days. So I'm literally writing stuff down here while you're talking, and it's nothing to do with this show or anything else. It's just something triggers you. But I agree with you
Yep.
with the attention span. Like, I think people find it difficult to even watch TV now. They're watching TV and then they're like, I'll just go on my phone while I'm watching telly, and then they'll fucking wander off and think. And the attention span is awful.
The
Dylan
greatest, come here to me. The greatest reduction in humanity in terms of intelligence is the proliferation of all the information you could ever need, which everyone thought would actually lead to freedom. It hasn't. It's led to more mass enslavement of people to devices to tell them what to do. You go to a concert and people hold up their phones to look at the concert through the phone that they're at, and you're going, just look at the stage. Just go to a football match and people are looking at through the match through their phone. They're constantly, it's an addiction to a device. And listen, I'm not being hypocritical. I'm just as equally as bad as this. What happens is that they've gamified everything on a phone, on a device, on computers, on tablets, whatever it is, to the point that the human, and one of the basic needs we like is enjoyment and fun. So if you make something fun and also challenging, so that the more you do, the better you get at it. The more you put in, the more you get out. You naturally gravitate to this. But what it's done is, by having social media that is based around brevity and the movement and the constant flow of new information, nobody sits down and discusses, analyzes, or anything. So I've started with the kids, started doing jigsaw puzzles again. Have just very basic
I
stuff
love a
where
jigsaw.
you have to sit there.
What's
No phones,
are
no
you good at
talk.
them?
What?
Like, what are you good at them? Like, what I mean by that is, like, I don't, like, I'm lethal at jigsaws. I don't mean that. I mean, like, when you walk into, if you go to buy a jigsaw, are you going, 500 is a fucking good number in that? Or are you thinking, no, I can
No, I'm
do
thinking
1,000?
I'm thinking there's the now E.T. because he's tray. What do you fancy? And he's like Pop Troll or something. No, let's get the joint atlas of the world of 1,500 pieces, and we'll start it now. And you have to do all the blue bits.
Wow. Because
And we put
I remember doing one with me daughter, and it was 500 pieces. Now, this is gone back years ago. She was about 3. But it was something we done after. At the time, I was collecting her up from the childminder every day, and we used to come home, and we'd probably have an hour before my wife got in, and me and her would sit at the kitchen table. And I sat on the kitchen table for months. No one was allowed. Basically, no one was eating their dinner at the kitchen table because this jigsaw. And then we went up to 1,000 pieces, but it was so fucking hard. It was literally a horse running on sand with the sea behind it. So it was literally the horse, blue,
yeah,
and fucking sandy colour, and that was it. And that
right.
took forever. But yeah, look, jigsaws are unbelievable. They're brilliant for the mind.
Yeah, and it's like when I get bored, I just get my phone out and start looking and seeing what's going on.
Yeah. And when the kids are doing the jigsaw, you're on your phone, looking at TikTok. Let me see. There's plenty. We're gone completely off fucking what we were going to talk about, but I'm okay with that. Here's the next one. If you had to eat one sauce with every meal for the rest of your days, what would it be? Taco sauce for me, says Dylan. Goes with everything. Class on burnt toast.
This is actually a good shout because this is a bit like if you could have one food, what would it be? And I said a burrito because you can mix and match it up and you can do whatever it is. Even with just the bet, you have to pick one type and just use it. You
one
can do
sauce,
thing. One sauce. I have to use one sauce on everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want toast? You can't have marmalade, you have to have the sauce. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Can you have
Yeah.
can you have butter if you're making a toast, or does it have to just be the sauce?
No, I'll give you
This is
butter.
important. You give me butter.
Yeah.
I'm going with Frank's hot sauce on everything.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that
yeah.
wouldn't be for me. That wouldn't be for me.
I was gonna go with Valentina's because I have some in there and I had it.
Now,
It's phenomenal.
I don't
Right?
know if I'm cheating here, but I'm gonna say I'm not because the word sauce is in the name. I would go with peppered sauce.
That's cheap. That's not. You listen to me. You, come here. Somebody has to make that. You said a sauce. It has to come out of a jar or a tub or a
Does
squidgy
it?
bottle. Yeah,
But it says peppered sauce.
I know, but you have to make it. It comes in a powder, or it comes in cream, and you have to do all the peppering and everything. No, no.
Right.
Thanks, Dylan. Dylan's excited because he's after hearing the words Valentina. Yes, it
Well,
is.
he said he had a burrito today.
Tremendous.
Sombrero was nice.
He's a man.
€17. They
He's a
got
man
me for
after.
that.
Well, I've already told him where to go. Pablo Picante's, the burrito
Yeah.
box, which we're also recommending for Christmas dinners, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you lash yourself into Belgium, and pick
Right.
whatever you want. That's where I'll be going. Okay, where are
Right,
we on to next?
so I can't have pepper sauce.
No,
Right. I will
great shout.
take
Eddie Rocket's secret sauce is a great shout as well.
Eddie Rocket's secret sauce is a great show, but I will take. You see, it's on everything. I love
Yep.
garlic sauce, but you can't do garlic with an awful lot of
Cornflakes.
thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. Well, who's putting sauce on cornflakes for fuck's sake? Do you know what I mean? But taco's a good one. Do you know what I bought a few weeks ago? And it was like, I think it was called like Southwest sauce or something. It was called.
Southwestern sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a ging of that.
It's a bit of taco though, on a hint of the Southwestern.
Yeah.
I will say one thing on the one I chose, and to Dylan's point, on yes, you can use Valentina sauce on a fry up. Now you got to be careful. You can't lash it on like tomato ketchup and just put it anywhere, right?
Well, you see,
But if you haven't, if
yeah,
you have
go
an
on.
egg, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fried egg, or
Yeah.
even scrambled eggs, work
Yeah.
with poached eggs as well.
Omelette. Would it
Sprinkled,
work with an omelette?
yeah, well, put it on the yellow part. That's why I said it has to have what it is, right? Put on the yellow part, right? And that bit of spice is like putting chili flakes or
What's
chili
this
sauce
one?
on
Now, what's this one called?
Valentina. It's a slightly peppery, more hotter version of just your typical.
Because I'm gone fucking mad into because with me weight loss stuff, I'm eating lots of veg, lots of omelets, and literally, I bought what you call it, balsamic vinegar, and I just can't get enough of the gear. I'm throwing around fucking everything, but I was going down to buy Worcester sauce today, and they've none, so I ended up buying Yorkshire relish.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be the Worcester sauce is nice in cooking. I wouldn't be lashing and it's nice if you stick on top of cheese going into a sandwich, right?
Yeah, but it's all on hot food, like. But I ended up buying Yorkshire relish, a bottle of Yorkshire relish, which is the same. It's basically the same texture as like soy sauce. But I'm looking forward to having a go with that. What about sriracha sauces, Cal? Throwing in a curveball at fucking 11:15 at night.
It's not a patch on Valentina's.
Yeah.
You can have all your Asian hot sauces. I'm sticking Mexican.
Okay. Let me see. Have I any other questions? Let me see. There is one. Veranda J says, my mate bought me a 1,500 piece jigsaw of a plate of beans for my 21st. The prick. That's fantastic. Let me see. Cantors asks, how long can you keep the ham from Christmas Day for the sandwiches? We usually ditch it after Stephen's Day, which is the 26th for anybody not outside of Ireland who calls it Boxing Day. How long do you keep the ham?
That you made?
Yeah. Ham lasts for days.
Months.
Like, funny now, I was down ordering me turkey and ham today, right?
It's gone in 5 days. It's not going. Listen, it's not going to make it past the 28th.
The turkey's
going to keep picking it.
You see, the turkey's different. The turkey for me. So we actually don't make Christmas dinner in this house, but we order turkey and ham because people come around on Christmas night, and then people come up on Stephen's Day, and it's like just fucking get a turkey and ham. People will eat it. With the ham, like I'd be cooking that on Christmas Eve, using it on Christmas night. It's making it. The only thing in this house is I don't think it makes it to the 27th because everyone's like,
That's
"Oh,
what I'm
more
saying.
ham," right? But
Picking
I
at
think
it.
I
Picking at it.
think the ham you
You
can
know, when you
get.
open the fridge and you go, what am I going to make for dinner today? Just have a little bit of ham there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
go on,
gonna
keep
do
going.
up a curry sauce and throw a ham into it because like the fucking ham is king. The turkey, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't eat the turkey after Christmas Day, and that's just me.
Right.
I wouldn't. Um, but the
I
ham,
would. I love turkey now. I'd be walking around just holding a leg, just munching on
yeah. But I think if you
it
cook
as
the
you go.
turkey on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, it's not making it beyond 48 hours. Even if you've some of it left, I think 40 hours later, it's no. I don't think it's happening. Let me see. I'm trying to mark these off as we go.
Are we going to do anything with the actual questions we're going to talk about, or just keep
Well,
letting the lads
we'll do
down?
one more question, then we can talk. What did you want to talk about?
What I was talking about, I was giving out a Christmas shopping on why it's just paying the hoop, and but I wouldn't mind. But we'll finish with a football one, right?
Right.
So
Well, can I do
get
one
one more,
more
then we
question?
finish
Then
with
we finish
football.
with the football one.
Yeah.
Right. So Dylan, right, really, I've one quick and one kind of maybe longer. Right. Dylan asks, office etiquette: are boiled eggs off limits? Fell in the job the other day. Used the communal toasty maker to fry a couple of bits of bacon and pulled out a Ziploc bag with a couple of boiled eggs in it. Is that offside?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think so. I think anyone comes into the communal kitchen and opens up the fucking microwave and starts microwaving fish of any sort should be fucking
Yeah,
sacked on the spot.
you can have it and you're grand, right? But no,
No,
you know what I mean. No,
you
it's
can have it in
like
your grand,
make it
but
before.
no.
If you want to, do you know what you could do? You could make the sandwich before you come into work and just heat it up in the microwave. If that's the way you want to go with it, right? But
Yeah.
no, don't be bringing in boiled eggs on their own and
By the way,
destroying the place.
I think those sandwich makers are one of the most underrated things of all time.
The old fashioned ones.
Yeah, you know the ones where it was just you buttered a bit of bread and you put it onto it, and then you put so the bread wouldn't stick to it, and then you put your bits on and you think like they're the most underrated things of all time. Now Brian asks, really random one for you. Anyone else clean out their gutters in the house lately? He did his today. Hands are cut to bits after from the slates on the roof. Some heap of shit in the gutters too. What's your feeling on gutters? I wouldn't clean my own gutters because I'm not going up on ladders. And most of the time now, the
Well,
people that come out have the big hoovers now, and they just hoover everything out of them. And it takes about 15 minutes. And you charge 150 quid.
I don't like again. I don't. I think our whole roof had to be replaced a couple of months ago, so it was all new gutters and everything gone up. So I don't need to worry about it.
You had a new roof put on your house.
Yeah,
Did you have to pay for that?
yeah,
You only bought that house.
yeah.
Did you not look at the roof when it was
Roof looked fine until I was sitting here in August and it started to cry
the
when it
roof
rained.
started to cry
The walls started to cry.
because the
Thought I
roof
was having.
was
I thought I was having a moment with Jesus, but there was no statues of Mary around anywhere for us to be
holy
able to get
fuck.
the
Was the,
RT
like
cameras in.
what was actually wrong?
Um, it was like
You
having
don't
a
have to
shower
keep
at the
looking up
desk.
at the roof. You don't have to keep looking up at the roof.
I keep looking because it's just it
As
has dollar signs
it's
on it.
like, you're looking up as if I hope this roof is listening to me.
Yeah. So got the lads out, took it off, thinking it was just I'll just replace a few tiles. It must be just coming in from somewhere.
Oh, a bit of a
Yep,
leakage.
a bit. So when they took it off, there was the beams, the lats that go across the roof. You know that where the tiles that sit on top
Yeah,
of the membrane.
yeah.
They'd done such a good job when they put the roof together that all these lads had gone from a nice colour and looked like they'd been in the sun for about 18 months with no sun cream on them. They were that black, right? And it was like
Wow.
just and crumbling. You could put your hands on it and just go, and you could take half the wood away. So they were like,
Wow.
yeah, there won't be a couple of tiles; it'll be the whole roof. And I was like,
So like, so you're talking roof and all the joists underneath it and the whole frame and everything, like. So basically, when they they said, look, this is what we need to take away. When they took it away, you could see the floor of your attic and nothing else, basically.
Yeah, so then I got onto the insurance company as you do, and they went, that's wear and tear. No cover.
Hmm.
So then
There
I
you go.
started to cry like the walls.
Yeah.
That wasn't great. So
Yeah.
that was the end. Yeah.
Dylan says, a local lad in my area does the course. It costs a tenner. And he goes around with a ladder on
Come
his
on.
bike. Cheap as chips. Yeah, maybe so. Anyway,
Interestingly, in that one, about in Dylan's area, about 5 days later, people's houses tend to get robbed. Don't know why.
yeah. Because your man's looking in the windows going, oh, look at that stuff. So there you
Give us a
go.
tenner. I'll
Yeah.
come back later on.
I really liked, and I was sitting here one day and the wall started to cry. Really good way to put it. Girl in their job a few years ago tried heating tin foil covered
Oh, no, no,
falafel
no,
in the
no, no, no.
microwave. Needless to say, there was an evacuation.
No.
Gutters on might have to take 2 hours. Um, by the time I've gone away, all the way around the house. Oh yeah, because he lives in a house on its own, so we would have gutters all the way around. Yeah, I'm with you. There you go. Right, you want to end with a football one? What is it?
No, remember we were talking earlier on about news. Oh, that's new news, and I was like, it's not really. The one thing I was just
Oh, when to
figuring out,
your question was when is it the right time to just
when do you
ditch a
pull it?
player, pull a plug on a
Yeah,
player?
and actually, it's interesting that we're talking about Allison earlier on about this, right?
Mm,
So I'm a massive believer in what Wenger was a believer in, and what a lot of sporting directors are. You're better off getting getting rid of a player a year early than a year too late. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Which makes all these conversations on new contracts, with the exception of Trent, um, it makes you just go, yeah, you can. It's not a straightforward question, you know that way. So it's great that the lads
Oh,
are
I
doing.
know what you mean. You look. Yeah, I know what you were looking at. I thought you were talking about Darwin Nunes when you talked about this, but I know
No,
where you're
see
coming from now.
The Nunes thing I told you was very straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Very straightforward. Um, and the guy hasn't produced the number of goals that you'd need for the amount of money that we spent on him. And I said to you when we signed him, and this is not a I told you so, right? I said my biggest fear was that we were signing a guy whose productivity would be very similar to Andy Carroll's, and it's turned out that way. Straight up. And I think as a personality and with the love of the game that he plays, he brings it. That's why fans really love him a lot. But let's be honest about this: in terms of what we are expecting for a player in that plays in that position, he's nowhere near what needs to be there. Do you know that way? If you had him scoring the number of goals that Bobby scored year after year, you'd be happy with the output and the productivity. The fact that it's fallen off a cliff this year, you
I
know what I
think
mean?
it's one of the hard. I think sometimes it can be an easy thing to do. I think if you bring a player in for a nominal amount and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
kind of work, you go, listen, this isn't working. But if you bring in someone in for 10 million and it hasn't worked and they're kind of highly rated and you bring them in, it doesn't work, you go, listen, we make our 10 million back. We're not, the risk isn't there. We're going to let go. When you're talking 64 million, I think Darwin Nunes was. When you're talking 64 million, you're kind of going, we probably need to give this fella a bit more time. You know what I mean? Even if he half proves himself, if Darwin Nunes goes and scores 15 league goals between now and the end of the season, and Liverpool decide he's still not it, someone around there will go, he got 15 goals in the fucking second half of the season there. He might be worth it, and you make your few quid back. It's one of the hardest things to do in football. And like
Yeah,
I was thinking Darwin Nunes when you said it to me earlier, and you went, yeah, kind of. But I know what you were saying. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, and
and
Trent is.
and come here, it's across the board. It's not just Nunes; it's Jota as well. So to this
Well, you see,
point,
that's the thing. I looked it up today, right? And I have them on my phone, right? Because I don't. I'm not saying Nunes is anyway perfect. I love him. And people know that I love him, but I can absolutely see the argument that this isn't working. He doesn't link play enough, and I completely get that. Like I'm not denying that argument, right? But I looked it up today, and I'm gonna try find it here. So Diogo Jota, right, has played 497 minutes for Liverpool in the Premier League this season. 7 matches he's been involved in. He started all 7 of them. He's had 14 shots in those 7 games. He scored 2 goals and he has 2 assists. Okay? Right? Now, you think, oh, right. Darwin Núñez has played 622 minutes over 16 games. He started, over 11 matches. Sorry. He started 6 of those. Okay? He has 2 goals and 1 assist. Right? With 16 shots. So, Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez, with more or less the same amount of shots, both have 2 goals this season for Liverpool. And my argument on this is that you can say he's good enough and he's not good enough, and then you look at Jota and you say injuries, but is Jota, sometimes they just don't fit. Like, if you put Darwin Núñez into another side where you go, listen, we're going to play on the break, or we're going to fucking launch the ball in the box, or whatever way you think is best for him, he might work. But there's an argument that neither of them work. Because, and that's not because they're not good players. It's because this sort of system I think Liverpool are playing at the moment is, it doesn't cough up a huge amount of chances for their central striker. They become more of a facilitator, and in that you still have to score some goals, but I don't think they facilitate enough, if you get me. I think we need, and I don't think it's a Firmino type, I think we need a really intelligent number 9 that may weigh in with a couple of goals. And I don't know if they're both. I can see your argument why Núñez isn't the answer. But against that, Jota, in not too much less football, has more or less the same output and shots as Núñez. Do you know that sort of way? And that's just on the Liverpool side of things. With regards to letting players go, it's such a tough call. You know, I know what you're saying with regards to Van Dijk and Salah, and you look and Salah's on flying form. Van Dijk has been brilliant this season. But it's always in the back of your head, at that 32, 33 years of age, you know, do they get I'm not saying they would, but do players in general at 32 get another nice contract and go, that's me done, boys. Happy out. Not to get another 3 years. And subconsciously it happens. A lot of times it does. But sometimes, or a lot of times it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Sometimes players just go, that's me fucking sorted. And they fall off a cliff. I'm not saying these players would, but you see it everywhere. And that's probably the hardest one, is a contract situation with a player that's 31 or 42. And clubs went that way, you remember? It was always, the policy is 1 year extra, and loads have done it.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting, particularly on Salah, given how integral he is. Like, you take Salah's goals out of our team and we're probably scrapping around mid-table somewhere, right? Because to your point, if you look at the goals scored outside of Salah across the team, and you've got your 2 for Jota, 2 for Gakpo, 2 for Núñez, and 5 for Diaz, like, that's not good enough. Quite simply, do you know what I mean? After 14 games, to have a guy who is the right-sided winger of your team, or sorry, the right-sided forward, or whatever you want to call him, being like almost scoring 3 times more goals than your next best forward.
But you see, I think a lot of Liverpool's chances for me, and I'm just talking about Liverpool because I couldn't go deeply into any other club because I don't watch them enough. I think Liverpool's chances are tailored for your right-sided attacker, your left-sided attacker, and believe it or not, the players coming in behind the number 9, in the sense of your attacking midfielder, whether that's a Szoboszlai or a Jones. Look, Jones has got something. I honestly think that's the way Liverpool play, and that's just the way it is.
But the goals,
like Jerry says there. Sorry, with this intelligent 9 in those, what you call them, we're still over reliant on Salah for goals. And he's saying, we'd be 13th without Salah. That's a nonsense argument. Or we'd be 13th without Salah. Well, we'd be last if we played no goalkeeper. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But if you watch Liverpool and how they focus attacks, it's about getting wide men closer to goal and in on goal. It really, really is. It's so obvious. Like,
but the only problem I have, Gav, is the return. So if the guys weren't getting the shots, if you know what I mean, right? And they weren't getting the numbers of shots to take those chances, I'd be saying fine. But they are, and your conversion rate in a team like this, I'm expecting to be higher for the amount of money we spent on the players that are in those
Yeah,
positions. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah,
So, and then to your point in terms of the over, like Salah's probably will hit over 20 goals this season, right? He'll do it again. But he is at that point where he stops being the 20 goal a season man and becomes the 15, 16 goal a season man, which is still worth every penny you're going to pay him because he's also giving you 8 to 11 assists on top of that, right? But we still haven't got that person stepping up that's in that we can, like when you think about when we had Mane, Firmino, and Salah, right? And this is not to go back to them. We had three lads who typically at different points of the season went on big runs and scored loads of goals,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So far, we're almost at the halfway point, and we're fully reliant on Salah scoring all the goals. And we all know that Salah hits a spell in the season for 2 or 3 months where his actual form and goal scores dips. That's what happens, right? To date, I don't see, and this is a bigger issue for us as we get into the back half of the season, where you're actually in the running and you're challenging and you can't afford to drop points. Who is the person that's going to step up and make the difference? And that for me is the biggest concern I have. And when you're looking at when do you let a player go at this moment in time, unless they have two strikers lined up and there's two going out the door, and these two strikers coming in can step up and score a requisite amount of goals with the chances they're going to get, then we cannot afford to get rid of Salah. And the same goes for the defence. They need two defenders coming in, and that's not a right back, but in Van Dijk if they're going to get rid of him. If you can't, you say, well, it's a 2-year deal. For me, these are all 2-year deals. They have to be 2-year deals with an option of a third that can be exercised in the
yeah.
event of hitting X benchmarks.
And that's where I think
That's the
it'll
way.
end up. That's where I think it'll end up with them too.
But I think they're very special
I've
cases.
stopped talking about Trent because I don't.
But I think they're very. I think those two players are very special cases, and that they are the exception rather than the rule. In the main, so someone like Nunes, if we've got to a stage 3 seasons in that he hasn't elevated to a certain point, then this is the time to go. Because if you let him go another season and he only hits 6 goals, we've essentially signed the Uruguayan Kevin Nolan. Do you know what I mean? Like he does lots for the team, but doesn't score many goals.
Yeah, but that's what Sam says there. Football is a simple game sometimes. How many games have we lost when we have started Nunes or Jota this season? One is the answer. So the team is more effective as a whole than the way our number 9 is playing, in my opinion. I agree with that. But what I will say is that I might even sound like I'm contradicting myself a little bit. I don't think we're making huge chances. I don't walk away from many games going, Jesus, Jota had 3 great chances there today, or Nunes had 3 great chances. Now, there is times when, you kind of go, Nunes, fucking hell, you hit it straight at the keeper. And that kind of stands out in his performance. And, and maybe the team does benefit more from, well, it clearly does benefit from having him on the pitch because they're winning most of their games. But what I'm saying is that I would expect Jota and Nunes to be on 5 or 6 league goals rather than 2. And I think it just and not only does it make it probably an even more successful season so far for Liverpool, but I think it gives the likes of me and definitely yourself you're a bit more at ease with the fact that, look, this fella always chips in. Because if you have a fella on 5 or 6 league goals now, the chance there he's probably getting 15 by the end of the season. And if you have 15 through the middle and you've 15 off the left and Salah's doing 20, all of a sudden you've 40, 50 goals, between the three of them. And then you add in wherever else what goes on. I don't know if is it a more clinical finisher? I'm not too sure because I think Jota's quite clinical. I think it's a really interesting conversation to be had around Liverpool and who, if you're looking to bring in a centre forward, who is it? Is it a prolific goal scorer?
But also, if you believe in what I believe in, which is you're better to sell a year early than a year late, right? It's not just the forwards and Van Dijk that's in this. We have to have a conversation about Robertson, right? Because he has all the hallmarks. He has all the hallmarks of a player who's peaked. So how far on the downside of his peak are
Yeah,
you prepared to go?
and like I've raised questions over Robertson this season. I have, particularly about 5 or 6 weeks ago, because I just thought he played way too much football after an injury. He
Mm.
came back from an injury in the Euros. He played in pre-season. I thought he played a little bit in pre-season. Sorry, um, and then he's into the league, and then all of a sudden he's playing all these international breaks, and he's playing every minute for Scotland, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And I did have questions over him. I will say though, in the last 4 or 5 games, I think he's really stepped up again. You know, and in fairness, we're probably looking at Andy Robertson going, his level has been exceptional for 7 years, and maybe he's had a 6 month drop. But
Mhm.
is that okay? Maybe he's brought it back up. But there's big talk around Liverpool and the left back in the summer. And maybe that's a bit of forward planning coming. And people go, well, we have Robertson, we have Simicast. Well, I think one of them will go. And the other one will stay and probably be number one left back. And the guy that comes in is a capable backup looking to be Liverpool's, starting left back, 18 months from now. But that's all in forward planning. I just think a left back is a fucking left back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think Robertson bombing up and down the wing does him no favours. I think he needs to actually play a bit more control football at times, and I think he fits into this team better. But when it comes to strikers, like people say, oh, if you threw Haaland in that team, he'd score 20, 30, 40 goals. I'm kind of going, I'm not sure he does. And then you're missing fellas that Jota loves dropping deep, pulling wide. Diaz or Nunes does the same. Diaz does it when he plays through the middle. Does Haaland, and I'm not, people will shout me and go, Haaland fucking would. What I'm saying is, for the sake of the team, if you're putting a Haaland into that Liverpool side and saying, will you please score us 35 goals this season? He'll go, I'll do my absolute best, but the team are going to suffer all around him because he's not going to do the work that our forwards do. Do you get me? So that's where you look at it and go, what sort of forward is it? And I'm not too sure what
Yeah.
it is. And the name that keeps popping into my head all the time is the guy off Brighton, is Joe Pedro. Because to me, he looks like a striker that can take chances when he gets them, but he's not always in that team to just be chance. He's not a chance-driven striker. He's a really good footballer that links things really, really well, finds space really well, but does take chances when he gets them. And I think that's where we need to be with it.
There's a born there in Anne. That's all I'm saying.
Um,
Very few people would know my attachment to Aberdeen Football Club to ask me that question.
Owen Jess or Scott Booth?
Yeah.
Which one?
I had to give it to Jesse.
Owen Jess. Fair. Nice.
Yep.
I remember both.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right, are we
Smashing
done?
jerseys. I think we're done. I think we're done. I think it's been great to see everyone this evening. I
I
like
enjoyed
this.
that.
Come on. Enjoy
3 people
Enjoy
didn't.
everyone.
But listen, what can you
3
do?
people. So I told you there's 4 borners there, right?
Yeah.
So 3 then changed his mind and had a great time. And it's great time. Everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
I love it all. Yeah.
Hotline says Pedro has
Tell
a
you-
somewhat poor injury record. Maybe does. Super Dizzle says Joe Pedro's streaky like Jota. It's the style of his play for me. That just I like the look of. But listen, I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm sure Arne Slot and whoever else calling the shots will make those decisions. But listen, we could be sitting here this time next year and Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota still play with Liverpool and still starting games with Liverpool. I highly doubt it, but they still could be. The sort of way. But that's how we go.
That's great.
Are
That's
we done?
great. I think I'm going back off to play with Willow.
Yeah.
Google's Willow just to see what type of answers I can get back. Right.
Best of luck, and I hope
So
I hope
yeah.
I hope the walls in the house don't cry anytime soon. I hope you have a good
I
Christmas.
think that's potentially what's going on. I'm having multiple universes appear at once at the desk, and we shall see how it goes. I've got a busy old spell to go. What we've got next week is leading the week to Christmas. Very busy, Gav. Very busy.
Yeah,
Last minute shopping.
we'll try do a show next Tuesday or Wednesday, and we won't be here the following
Yeah.
week. Let's be honest.
No,
But that's
that was Christmas. It's Christmas. I'll be singing Dominic the Donkey to everyone in my family.
Yes, next week Phil will sing Dominic
No,
the Donkey on the channel for next week's Having the Brace. Hit like, subscribe, comment.
watch Brotherhood. Watch
Oh, Brotherhood
Californication.
and
Enjoy. Well,
Californication. Yeah.
fornication.
Like, subscribe, comment if you're right or watching on the Having a Breeze show. Channel or the Talkin Kop. And if you're on the Talkin Kop one, like, subscribe, comment.
Join.
Become a member if you want as well, yeah. And our charity links are in the description if you want to donate to our charities. And our football prizes latest offer is there, which closes on Monday, and it's all about Luis Suarez. So go and check that out. The link is in the description. That's been Phil. I've been Gav. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Be good. Talk to you later. Over and out.